The regent sat hotly on his throne, their gaze hanging over the wills of the people through the statues and high towers. The people, seemingly aware of his condemnation, scurried about hunched over to avert themselves from the sunken eyes of the statues and the oppressive monoliths. Thus the city wept. You, who once made me in your image, to your aspirational essence, what has become of you? To the north of the city, built into the base of the mountain, was a bastion, the last whisper of nobility. It was with a muted strength it sang. There the king sat on his throne, chained by the responsibility he felt to the people. The throne was lit with a myriad of colors, each contrasting against the marble floor. On that marble floor, before the king, stood an arbiter, his armored robes draped against the ground, the gold embroidery glinting against the sunlight. I demand to know the nature of this audience, the king stated. The arbiter replied. You do well to address me with more cordiality, the king slouched in resignation. The vast expanse of his kingdom nestled within the cradle of his sunken eyes and weary brows. Speak of your prophecy, the king said solemnly. The priest took a deep breath before continuing, his breath reverberating throughout the chamber. From the moment there was a spoken word, man declared war against his mother, nature, tearing down her forest, uprooting her gardens and ripping the mountains and stone from the earth in an attempt to make her in his image. And now that he had conquered nature, his hubris declared war against his father, the spirit, all in the name of progress. A mistress who cared for no one except for the one married to her last, and many men have conjoined themselves with such a mistress. He constructed abominations to pacify himself, to reduce him to the state of an infant with drugs like opium and hashish. And now that he had conquered his father, he sets his aims upon himself. The kingdom withered in the king's eyes as he glanced at his children, deep in contemplation, melancholy shrouding whatever hope he had left in his heart. Continue, he said. The priest nodded slowly, his voice carrying through the silence. Man cradles his ability to protect himself from his mother's whims. Through his understanding of continuity, he was able to develop a sense of permanence in relation to his environment. This was the will of man, to maintain continuity, or rather, the establishment of boundaries. This is that. I am me, and he is him, and that animal is different than me. Because of this, he could create structures throughout time, but man betrayed himself when he indulged in instant gratification. This is why it was seen as the ultimate vice, because it contradicted the very foundation upon which man realized his will to power, his dominance over nature, which was chaotic. And man could not thrive in nature, his body was weak. It is human foresight that elevates man above the animal, the priest stated. We, as a guide for shaping belief and fostering virtue, should ultimately be trying to cultivate said foresight. But you have led your people astray with your parties and your celebrations and your gladiatorial arenas. And so it is with a heavy heart that we, the church, demand that you abdicate the throne. Begone, the king growled, gritting his teeth. Fury flickered within the cradle of his eye. All that was the world refracted through the painted glass behind him. In the prologue.